We'll give you employment if you're unemployed. We'll give you welfare and security. All we want in return is all of your labor for all of your life. Didn't you read those 732 pages of the 1935 Social Security Act before you signed the application? The entire text of the contract is in writing. It's always been available. And any judge will look at you and say, why didn't you read the contract then? And you might say, well, I didn't know anything about the Social Security Act of 1935. Nobody presented the contract to me. That's because it's called an adhesion contract. You didn't hear of adhesion contracts in public school? By the way, who operates those public schools, ladies and gentlemen? And who operates Social Security? If you knew that you were worth $435,000 over the course of your life, can you understand why government doesn't want you to understand the Social Security Act? Now, the IRS Form 1040 comes into play right along this line also, and it is in the nature of an installment note, yearly payable upon continued exercise of the franchise and its derivative of the law merchant. Among other things, this is why the IRS manual in the Legal Reference Guide, page 58, section 11 states, quote, in any case not provided for in this act, 26 U.S.C., the law merchant shall govern. All states have adopted this in their uniform business and commercial codes. In UCC 1-103 of Arkansas Uniform Commercial Code, 85-1-103, Washington Revised Code 62A1-103, every state in the Union has such a provision. The government uses the power of attorney that was granted with the signing of the Social Security contract when they seek a redress of grievance. This is revealed in 26 U.S.C. 3101A, the connecting link with Title 42, the section on the 1935 Social Security Act, Title 2, Title 11. In other words, law is written line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little and there a little. It's the methodology whereby we keep you perpetually deceived because, first of all, you've never been trained in law, and secondly, those that are trained in law would have to be trained in legal research to ferret out the connecting links to tie the jurisdiction of Title 26 and the income tax to Title 42 with Social Security. The average mind simply cannot cope with such a system. 3101A of the Federal Insurance Contributions Act, called FICA, where it says, quote, old age, survivors, and disability insurance, in addition to other taxes. What other taxes do you think they're referring to? It's called withholding. There is hereby imposed on the income of every individual a tax equal to the following percentages of the wages as defined in section 3121A, received by him with respect to employment, as defined in section 3121B. Without a Social Security account, you can't pay an income tax because you're not a taxpayer. Social Security Act is the contract whereby you gave your power of attorney to the Secretary of Health, Education, and Welfare. It was under that power of attorney that you gave him the authority to tax you under the Income Tax Act of 26 U.S.C.
So, anybody thinking about moving to this country, or anybody living here now, I would highly suggest rethinking your plans. I mean, everybody saw the debate, so we all know this country's going to shit no matter what. And Mom, I have 3 beautiful boys. I have a husband. And life is so incredibly hard here. Paying $2,100 a month for rent. Can't get a loan for a house because of credit. Trying to get a loan to pay off all of our debt. But can't do that because you don't have the credit. can't afford a $1,600 home loan, but we can afford a $2,100 rent payment. We have to move because our landlord is selling her house, and everywhere is $2,400, $2,500. Some places are $3,000 for rent. It is so hard to breathe living here. And my state is one of the cheaper states. We're not okay. It's hard being a parent. It's hard keeping your kids safe. It's hard keeping a roof over our head at this point because everything costs an arm and a leg. Groceries are $1,000 a month. You got 3 growing boys, and they each have a house at home. So if anybody knows anywhere to live that doesn't cost $2,400 a month for rent, that allows you to have pets. I have a service dog, and our youngest dog has been with us for 9 years. He'll be 9 in September. And my cat. Can't go anywhere without my cat. I love my cat. And we're not okay. It's hard. It's very hard. We're not okay. It's hard. It's very hard. So if anybody has any ideas on places that don't charge you your soul and your firstborn kid to, live, let me know. Any states out there that are safe?
Let's come to the American people and tell them the truth. You can't come and dodge this. You guys say, here's the fact, and it's not complicated. It's not like a cure for cancer. It's a relatively straightforward problem. We're spending X, and we're from taxes, we're generating, I don't know, X minus 5%, or 6%, or something like that. We're going to borrow another $1 trillion this year, I believe, to cover the difference. And the only way we can solve that problem is be aware that we've got to keep the economy growing. All of us want the economy to grow. So we've got to look for a way to generate additional revenue. Take Social Security, for example. It's a relatively easy problem to solve. You are going to have to raise some additional revenue. I personally would like to see lower income beneficiaries get more rather than less. 40% of them right now, that's all they've got for income is Social Security. You're also going to have to make adjustments in the benefits. And for you that are covering this thing, the first thing that will happen, for every single time there's proposal to fix Social Security, the people will be turning out their hair saying, Bob Kerrey wants to move the retirement age back. That's not true. There's no such thing as a retirement age any longer. We eliminated the need to quit work in order to get Social Security benefits. You don't have to retire to get Social Security. And there's an early, there's a normal, and there's a late benefit. That is true. And those are going to have to be moved a bit. So you're spending and you got revenue and you got to balance the two out. And it's supposed to be covered for all, all generations. 75 years it's supposed to be covered, and it's not even coming close. It's just not fair. And it's not fair. And so you got to come and say, we can solve this problem. We're going to have to reduce the benefits a bit. We're going to have to generate some additional revenue. We can keep our economy going. We can make Social Security even more fair than it currently is. But we got to be brave. We got to think of those men who landed at Normandy, 80 years ago, and say we've got to act the same way because it is going to take courage. It's not going to be easy. And the American people have to recognize and appreciate when you've got people when they do finally step forward and say we're brave enough to get this done.
You're very clear-eyed.